Today on the channel, it's June 30th, 2025, and the G.I. Joe Haslab has been officially announced, and it's Arctic Flint with a bonus Snowcat.
And the spirit of Ultimate Warrior will run forever!
Welcome everyone, Kyle here, back again with some exciting news on the G.I. Joe Haslab. Of course, down to the wire with G.I. Joe June. G.I. Joe June, a little rough this year compared to prior years, but at least we got to know what the Haslab is down to the wire on the final day, and that's what we're going to dive into today. We're going to talk all about the Snowcat, or should I say Arctic Flint, with bonus Snowcat, and we'll get to that, of course. But it is June 30th, the last day of June, and we're talking about the Snowcat. $325 price point, a pricey boy, but all things considered, if they hit all the tiers, which once again we're going to get to in this video, not a bad value if you ask me. Now the Snowcat history for me, I had the Snowcat as a little kid. I also had the Tiger Force edition once upon a time. I absolutely love the Snowcat, one of the iconic vehicles. Now, I'm not going to lie and say that was my most wanted selection. I knew we would probably get a Joe vehicle this go around, but man, oh man, I was really hoping for the Cobra Moray, the Killer Whale, or the Mauler. I also would have liked to see the Havoc, but I'm not against the Snowcat. Like I said, a very iconic vehicle. Maybe we're going to be building out some of our Arctic Joes. We've got a few, but can we get an Arctic Cobra Commander in the future? Can we get the Crimson Twins with the cool fur collars? Maybe we'll get some of that in the future as well. So I would have to imagine about a year from now, fall 2026, ship day, as of right now for this, if it does fund, of course. Have to imagine we'll have some other characters around that. Maybe Blizzard, of course. We talked about him possibly being one of the tiers. Didn't end up happening. And the tiers are amazing with this one here. Once again, we're going to get into that here in a second. But let's dive into it. The campaign starts now. Starts right now. And as I'm filming this video, there's like 2,500 people that have already backed this bad boy. So I don't think it'll have any problems being fully backed personally. I think we'll get all the way to the final tier very easily. You got to remember, August 14th is a little bit of time away, over a month away. There's going to be a lot of people that wait to the last minute. That's what always ends up happening. That final night, you'll see that number skyrocket. You'll see some stores, brick and mortar stores order. You'll see a lot of that kind of stuff. But I fully expect we'll get to 8,000 probably, maybe even by the end of the day. We'll see what ends up happening. Obviously, we'll cover this in the toy news on Saturday. We'll give some updates along the way. But August 14th is when the orders are due. Has to hit 8,000 just to fund. And then you go from there with the tiers, of course. Now, Farley Frostbite Seward, I guess I didn't remember his name being Farley, and Cobra Commander even made fun of it a little bit in that video. Once again, the Hasbro team, I figured we'd have a full-on like half-hour video going through everything, but it was a quick 5-minute video. Cobra Commander laying the presentation out once again. Too bad Chris Latta's not around anymore to give the voice on that, but is what it is there. But he laid out everything for us in a quick, snappy video, and man, I'm here for it. It got me pumped up, got me excited. But Farley Frostbite Seward is going to be the man with the plan with the Snowcat. Of course, the driver. We knew when we heard Snowcat, you knew he had to be included. Makes all the sense. A very good looking figure here. Could we see the Tiger Force repaint in the future? That'll be something to keep an eye on, I guess, in the future once again. But I have no issues with this figure. Now, we're looking at renders right now. Of course, along the way, we'll see some more of those kind of things. But we're looking at renders of him, and I got to say, the render looks really good. He comes with a thermos as well. Oh, yeah, everybody loves a thermos. But it is funny, kind of interesting, the whole kitchen and food and drink aspect of this Haslab, and we'll continue to talk about that as we go through the different characters. 2 heads on Frostbite, so you get the iconic head. You also get the headset driving head. Pretty cool to see that one there. But Frostbite, a slam dunk, has to be with the Snowcat. They go hand in hand together, of course. But then we dive into the Snowcat. Obviously, a winter vehicle, as we've said. Big, mighty, about, gosh, I guess go head-to-head with the Hiss tank, I guess what it'll end up doing in our collections right now. But a lot of people think the Snowcat is a grandma vehicle, and I've been calling vehicles grandma vehicles since we started this channel. Those are the little itty-bitty vehicles. Think of like the Devilfish. That's a bit of a grandma vehicle if you're familiar with your Joe vehicles. But this Snowcat, it's a lot bigger than a lot of people give it credit for, and I think we saw that in the renders here today. It's going to be a big vehicle. It's going to carry some people, and we saw some of the stuff that it will be included in the Snowcat. Obviously, they're going to promote all the wares to it, and I guess we'll go through some of that. Full of missiles. Of course, you got to have missiles as a Snowcat, and then they got the ski missiles. Very iconic. Would have liked to seen a little launcher out of that. Not in the case here, but very cool to get those snow missiles. Very iconic once upon a time. I guess still iconic now. Very cool that you got the personnel carrier in the back. You take the gun turret off of that. You can store extra characters in the back if you want to, if you're transporting some troops to Cobra Law, maybe. Who knows what you're up to. But I do like that aspect of it. There's a lot of moving pieces. And of course, the missile launcher, very iconic piece of the Snowcat as well. Functional wheels and suspension. I mean, they give us all the bells and whistles. Sometimes I wonder, and maybe you wonder this too with some of these Haslabs, if they dumb down a few of those things. Personally, for me, I don't need the suspension moving. I don't need all that kind of stuff. I like that they do it, but it obviously adds to the price point. To me, can you dial a little bit of that stuff back? I guess where is the line? I don't know. And it just depends what you're looking for there. But if they could dial a few of those kind of things back, and I like the LED light city with this one, which is really cool once again, but I don't know if I need that. I'm not sitting here with it all the time. It's just weird. I'm not playing with my stuff, and it really depends what kind of collector you are. You're a little kid, you're somebody that likes to turn them off and on. It is what you make of it, I guess. But like my Dragonfly, I think I turned them on a couple of times when I first got it. It just sits there on display. I don't really go in and turn the lights on. So it's a cool feature, but it's a little bit wasted for me personally. Maybe it's not for you. And the Snowcat's going to be like that. The Hiss tank was like that. I just don't use all the lights on it very often. So part of me wonders, and I don't know how they would do it. Could you have a tier where it doesn't have it and you do have it? I don't know, but I feel like they could dial the price back a little bit. But at the same time, I appreciate they give us the whole kit and caboodle. And who knows, I could be sitting here, well, why don't they give us LEDs? You could be saying that on the back end. So I get what they're doing there, but sometimes I do wonder if it could be dialed back a little bit. But I think the majority of people like it. I guess chime in on that in the comments down below. You get the tow hooks, the working winch. You get the manual snow blade wipers on that. I remember that one being etched into the glass. Of course, they're going hard with stickers. And once again, my crazy brain, it's like I want to customize it, but I don't want to customize it. And I usually don't put my stickers on my Haslabs. I don't know why. I don't know why my brain works that way. But some of the cool stuff, like the frosted over glass, I think is a cool idea for this. Obviously, a winter vehicle, it's going to get frosty, especially with frostbite and that big old thermos he's got. And he's got what? Oh, Todd McFarlane said, I won't even repeat where his thermos is, but he does come with a thermos there. So I thought that was cool. Very cool that we got a pull-out kitchen. I mean, that's some extra attention to detail we definitely didn't have in the OG model, but you slide it out, you can make a little kitchen. Obviously, he's got his thermos. He's bringing his thermos to the party, and I guess maybe to the sausage too. Who knows what's up with frostbite. But you do get that little kitchenette there, which of course will tie into some of the other figures we'll talk about here in a second. But I thought that was pretty cool with the pull-out kitchen. A lot of bells and whistles on this. A lot of storage opportunities. A lot of size. Obviously, you can put 2 people in the cockpit. You can put, 4 in the back. Probably hang some other people on it as well. Truly a big vehicle. It is a big vehicle, and I think it's deceivingly big is what I'll say as well. But now we get down into the tiers a little bit, and an interesting breakout of the tiers. Now, 8,000 funds everything. You go to 10,000, you get Lady Jaye in her Arctic gear. Of course, Flint's top gal, Lady Jaye, one of the all-time greats, as we do know. Obviously, she's dating Flint. She's got to be one of the all-time greats. But Lady Jaye looking really good, and I've always been a sucker for the winter gear from the G.I. Joe movie back in the day. Get me Quick Kick in his coat, get me Cobra Commander, give me that kind of stuff. I'm here for that, and we're getting Lady Jaye to add to the party. Once again, she's got a cup of joe, very ironic there, but it goes back to the kitchenette and some of the food stuff, and we get all the weapons we would get with Lady Jaye. Head sculpts look good. Now, once again, this is all renders we're seeing, and you never know what might happen from render to actual product. We just saw it recently with Power Town. Stay tuned to that video here on the channel, or it's probably up by now. But sometimes things are lost in translation. Now, that being said, we haven't seen that a lot with the G.I. Joe team. They're usually pretty spot on for the most part, so I'm not too concerned about that. I think Lady Jaye looks great. Once again, to get Lady Jaye, we got to hit 10,000. I truly think we'll hit 10,000, no problem. But now Tier 2 is a curveball I was not expecting at all. The Bivouac, I don't even know how to pronounce it. I guess I never even remembered. To me, it was the G.I. Joe tent set. And I had this. This is one of the first G.I. Joe things I had as a little kid. All the way to my end of my playing days, I made use of this. This is where Joes would set out camp somewhere. They'd use that to cover from the elements, help hurt guys and stuff. Just a very cool mini vehicle, I guess mini play set, we'll call that. I really like the looks of that. You get the campfire with it. You get some fish you can make. Obviously, you're fishing in the snowy waters and all that kind of stuff, or frozen waters. I really like the looks of this little battle station. A very cool subset here. And once again, a childhood favorite of mine. So very cool. And I did not expect this to be a throw in here. I gotta wonder if we're gonna get some more of that stuff. We saw the Outpost is coming. We're seeing this. Could we see some more of these in the future? We'd love to see it, but that's a cool one here for tier number 2, and we get that with 12,000. Now, I don't know. I'm not sure on this tier breakout. So Lady Jaye's number 1, then you get to the tent set, we'll call it at tier 2. But then tier 3 is what brings it home. We got to hit 14,000. Have to imagine once the news gets out to everybody, everybody wants that true leader of G.I. Joe. Of course, in his Arctic gear, it is Flint. Hasbro team playing all the hits straight to me. They said, we need more Flints out there. What do we got to do to get more Flints? I know, let's put him as a tier in the Haslab, and let's put him as the final tier because he is the final boss of the G.I. Joe universe. He's the man, he's the myth, the legend. It is Flint. It makes all the sense in the world to have him tier 3. I don't know if you should have flip-flopped tier 1, tier 2. It feels weird to go figure, tent, figure is what it is. But once again, I truly expect we're going to get all 3 of these. You guys sound off in the comments below, but this Flint looks amazing. He's got his winter gear on. He's going to make some eggs for everybody because that's what a true leader does. He's like, you know what, guys? I'm going to get up early. You guys sleep in. We had a long night. I'm going to make those eggs on the kitchenette is what I'm going to do. Flint just helping out. Wants to keep his men fed, where Duke would have secretly woke up in the middle of the night. You guys all know this. Tommy Farley, you know this is true. He would have woke up in the middle of the night. He would have got these eggs. He would have stole Frostbite's thermos. You know he would have been in his thermos. Of course he would, that Duke. Oh, he's dastardly. Would have got in there, would have stole Lady Jaye's coffee. He would have gobbled that kind of stuff up. You know, they're trying to ration this stuff out. Duke would have put it all down. Said, well, I guess some polar bears got in the middle of the night. They took all the food. Man, that's terrible. And he's just full stomach like he's done with Thanksgiving. That's Duke. That's why he's not a part of these tiers. That's why he's not a part of this anywhere. Everybody's starting to find out that the true leader is Flint. He'll make you eggs. He'll feed you out in the winter elements. He'll do that, of course. But man, oh man, you know I was excited. I saw that. I audibly went, yes, right at my desk. That's what I did when I saw Flint. They got to have Flint in there. I'm here for that. That's going to be absolutely amazing. But that is tier number 3. That is 14,000. Once again, I do think we'll hit that because the power of Flint compels everybody. I'll have to rethink my life if this doesn't fund with Flint. And I know it will. I know it will. It will for sure. Be very interesting too. Will they go crazy if this blows it out? Let's say we get 14,000 in a week. Let's just say that happens. Let's play pretend. Let's play make-believe. Would they say, hey, we're going to put another tier in there. If you guys can get another 2,000 here, you're going to get this. Could we see that in the future? That would be pretty cool if that ended up being the case. We'll just have to stay tuned. You know, they'll give us updates along the way. But I'm very excited about all this kind of stuff. I mean, it really plays all the hits here for the G.I. Joe landscape. You got a classic vehicle, a very classic vehicle in the Joe one, and you got classic characters. Obviously, Frostbite with the Snowcat, but then you get Lady Jaye and Flint, 2 of the heaviest hitters in the Joe universe, getting add on to this. Now, I thought we'd get somebody like a Blizzard. I think it makes sense. Blizzard would have been nice. Maybe he'll be a future add-on. I doubt it at this point. But Blizzard would be great to have in the future, and I think he will be somebody we get in the future around this release. But I would love to see more winter soldiers from both sides of the Joe fence, Cobra fence in the future. Just be very cool to dial in around all this kind of stuff here. But man, oh man, how cool is this thing? I gotta say it wasn't surprising. I don't know if anybody was surprised with this announcement here today, and maybe that's why they didn't do the full-on video, because it was probably the worst kept secret at Hasbro that this was going to be the Snowcat. But I went away with that video feeling very positive about it. Obviously, Flint's involved, so I'm going to be positive. But $325 feels fair when we hit everything. And then I think it is the right vehicle, the right characters, the right mix to make this a successful Haslab for me personally. So I'm very excited. I'm going to put my money down now. You guys know me, though. I might wait till the last minute to put my money down because I don't want people sitting on my money forever. But I'm part of the problem if that's the case. If we're fighting to hit, 8,000 or something, well, maybe I will jump in just because of the Flint experiment, but I think everybody else out there is going to get us there before I even put my money down. But let me tell you, I will be putting my money down. There's no doubt about this one here. So Very, very fun, very exciting. It's going to be tough to wait to fall of 2026, but that's the way these Haslabs do go. Fully expect, well, I guess I shouldn't say fully expect, but will we see this at San Diego Comic-Con? You would have to think so, right? So we'll stay tuned. We'll see what ends up happening. Less than a month away, San Diego Comic-Con at this point. So can't wait to see this bad boy in person, hopefully. Can't wait to see the Flint. It's going to be an all-timer, that's for sure. But what say you guys and gals out there? You excited for this Haslab? What would you like to see different? What would you like to change? How excited are you for Flint? How excited are you that they didn't put Duke in there? They wanted this thing to fund. They didn't want to put Duke in there. You guys know how it goes. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to subscribe to both my YouTube channels. You know we're covering all the Joe stuff over here. Every Joe vehicle, every Joe figure, it gets unboxed on the channel. And we talk a little bit of Duke every once in a while, Todd McFarlane. So make sure you do subscribe. Check out Patreon. Check out YouTube channel memberships for even earlier content. Of course, Sir Paul64 on the X, _Kyle_Peterson on Threads, Instagram, TikTok. And of course, The Kyle Peterson Show at gmail.com. My brand new podcast each and every Tuesday. It is The Kyle Peterson Show. Wherever you find your audio podcast with bonus video podcast, of course, up on YouTube. So for the Haslab 2025 edition, I'm Kyle. Yo, Joe.
Well, are we gonna dance or are we gonna play?